I'm Kimberly Prather. The ACU Wildcats lose one game, but earn another.
I'm Grant Boone. Yeah, they lost to the Mustangs, but hold your horses. The Wildcats are right back at Midwestern State today. The Chris Thomsen Show comes your way next, playoff style. Welcome to a playoff edition of the Chris Thomsen Show. Grant and Kimberly with ACU head coach Chris Thomsen. A day after losing another heartbreaker, 15-13 to Midwestern State in the regular season finale, the Wildcats learned, along with the rest of the Division II college football world watching on ESPN News, that they had earned the sixth and final playoff spot in the Super 4 region. In fact, Coach, you get a mulligan. You get to go right back to Wichita Falls, play Midwestern State, same team, same field. 1 week later. We'll talk about that game later on in the show. But first, a couple of things. Congratulations on a fourth consecutive playoff appearance. And then secondly, how nervous were you on Sunday as that announcement was about to be made?
We were pretty nervous. We had all the players in a meeting room, and you know, we were actually waiting on Lance Fleming, our sports information director, to call and really just kind of break down the bracket. And you know, he told us the first 5 teams, but that 6th team was us. And just a huge eruption in our meeting room. Guys were really excited, and we were a little bit nervous. We kind of thought we might be in based on the way things fell with Central Missouri and Missouri Western, but you still never know until they put it into the computer. We were very excited.
Now that you've seen this Mustang team in person and on film, does this change the way that you're going to prepare for today's game?
Not really. We won't change a lot of things. There's a few things that we'll adjust and tweak a little bit, as I'm sure they will whenever you – never been in this situation before. We played some rematch games, but never, you know, the week after. So this time of year, you kind of are what you are. You don't change a lot of things, but there are a few things. Every game as a coach, you look back and say, I wish we would have done this different. Well, there's a few things that you get to change. They get to do the same thing, so it'll offset. It should be an interesting game.
And we'll look back at that first game when we come back on the Chris Thomsen Show. Highlights from ACU and Midwestern State in the regular season finale. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Chris Thomsen Show. Before we look at the highlights from last week's game, Coach, just tell me what you told your team in terms of what was at stake before last week's game.
Well, I mean, I think they knew for the most part that, you know, we approached it like it was a win or you're done playoff type game, with the thought that if we didn't win, there's some possibility to get in if things fell right, which they did, but. You know, and I think they played with great urgency. I think both teams did. Everybody dials it up just a little bit in intensity and effort, and I think that showed Saturday.
Well, it certainly was a playoff game for Midwestern in the sense that had they lost, they would have been out. Let's look at the highlights from Wichita Falls Memorial Stadium. They get the ball after an ACU initial drive is stopped after a first down, and then it's Zach Eskridge hitting his favorite receiver, Andy Tanner, on a big play downfield. But then look how this play ends.
Well, a great effort play here by Tony Harp, just getting back in the mix, and then Josh Wise pops the ball out. And but you know, a great example there of Eskridge just being able to keep a play alive and making a big play. That play broke down, and he made a play off of it. So shows what he can do. Wind
was a major factor in this game, 25 to 30 miles an hour out of the south. And here's an example here. Mark Sprague, after your team gets a first down, only a 20-yard punt, and they get it on their own 40 to start.
Yeah, that's a huge field position swing, and it was in the whole first quarter. It was the key to their 15-0 start.
They drive down to the 31-yard line, and on 3rd and 2, Eskridge finds maybe not the first guy you're looking for, but Jared Freeman with just his 2nd touchdown of the season.
Yeah, Eskridge did a great job on the play-action fake, and Drew bit on the run a little bit there, and the receiver got behind him, and they go up right away.
All right. The extra point, by the way, was missed, not blocked, just missed to the right by Jose Martinez, the fine kicker for Midwestern. 6-0. Mustangs lead it after an ACU 3-and-out. Eskridge finds B.J. Mathis for only a yard because of a great tackle by Eric Edwards on the near sideline.
Yeah, BJ's their all-conference punt and kick returner. He also plays running back. He's really dangerous in the open field, so a great play.
And it forces a short field goal, makes it 9-0. After another ACU 3-and-out, it is Eskridge getting into a groove. He's got Sheldon Galloway here for 21 yards down to the ACU 27.
Sheldon's a big physical receiver. He's actually the nephew of Joey Galloway, the NFL receiver, and we recruited him last year. Great player. He made some good plays in the game.
And then Lester Bush, with Marcus Mathis out since the Tarleton game, Bush gets his first touchdown of the season. It's 15-0.
Bush is a big back, really a big, strong, tight red zone, good in the tight red zone, showed it right there, and they jump out on us quick.
How big was the wind? They called timeout with 7 seconds left to keep the wind at their backs. They punch it in on the next play. They get to kick off with the wind at their backs with 4 seconds left in the quarter, and they get another touchback. So after another missed extra point by Martinez, who's normally reliable, it's 15-0. And, Coach, at this point, you're just trying to hang on, aren't you?
Yeah, we faced the same thing in 07. We actually went down, I think, 21 points in the first half. And so just try to, remain calm and keep playing the next play. Don't let guys get discouraged, and I think they did a good job.
On to the second quarter. Big play here. 4th down and 1 from their 40. You choose to go for it. You hit Justin Andrews, but this play is wiped out because of a pass interference called against Andrews.
Yeah, Justin, they called him for pushing off. The free safety ran down and tried to match him man-to-man, and he really just ran into him, and the free safety fell down. But it's really a play that the official has to call that way.
That's huge because instead of 1st and 10 inside their 20, you move back 15 yards and you choose to punt. Okay, still 15-0 at this point, but then on 3rd and 7 from the Midwestern 20, this has been a combination that's worked for you, especially the second half of the season. Gale to Dennis Campbell for a big first down.
Yeah, Dennis has done a good job on those inside routes. He can get in there. He's a physical kid and match up with those outside linebackers, and they made some plays with that. I think Dennis caught 6 balls on the day.
For 68 yards. All right, this is a great play here. 3rd down and goal from the Midwestern 3, and 6th-year senior Trey Simeon gets some love in the end zone. His second career touchdown, first of the year.
Yeah, it was a good play fake by Mitchell, and down in the tight red, they're really good. Their defense is strong, so we wanted to play action them, and Trey made a great catch.
First touchdown since 2006, which was his first year here at ACU. Okay, 15-7 after the extra point, and then on 2nd and 8 from the ACU 40-yard line, Eskridge is going to get a face full of Fred Thomsen and Aston Whiteside. From the first quarter on, boy, you guys really limited their passing attack.
Yeah, we were able to get 5 sacks, which is hard to do against those guys. They've got a good offensive line, shows what kind of defensive line we have, and that'll be the key. In today's game, if we can stop their run and force them into drop back pass, we'll have a chance to get pressure.
We talk about how multi-talented Eskridge is. He did well with his feet running the ball. His right foot here to perfection, the quick kick, and he downs it at the ACU 4-yard line.
Yeah, he did that all day and really had us starting off our own end and did a great job. That was the difference in the game, was the field position.
All right, but backed up deep after an offside penalty after an illegal substitution penalty, actually, against Midwestern. Reggie Brown gets to the outside for a second, Coach. I thought he was going to go the distance here.
Yeah, I was hoping he would get that thing in the end zone. Danny Jackson, a guy that we recruited out of Abilene College, ran him down. Danny did a great job on the play.
All right, so you do get down to the 39-yard line, and with the wind, a strong wind at your back, you go for Morgan Lineberry from 56 yards out. And this is one of my worst calls of the season. I thought he was going to miss left right through there for the 3rd longest field goal in ACU history.
Yeah, the kid's got a great leg. He's just a freshman, and with strength training and development, he could be really special.
15-10, you go to halftime, and on the first drive of the second half, we're going to see Zach Eskridge. We saw his right foot here. He uses both feet from his own 20-yard line on 2nd and 10, tucking it and running.
Yeah, just a quarterback draw, a really good call on their part. Kind of caught us in a pass defense, and he slipped out for 20 yards. That was a huge play, field position-wise, too.
But then on 3rd down and 8 from their own 47, another face full of Fred Thomsen, Kevin Washington assisting on this one.
Yeah, again, just getting pressure and just trying to harass him all day. He's a great quarterback. You got to get pressure, get in his face.
13 for his first 13, but then 1 for his next 11. Okay, ACU gets the ball back, and deep in their own territory, Mitchell Gale looks like he could have done a couple of things here, either throw it out of bounds or just run it, and he throws it right to Jeremy McDonald of Midwestern State, a huge turnover.
Yeah, just a rookie mistake. He told me, Coach, I was trying to throw it out of bounds. I said, put that thing in the 3rd row next time, and the next time he did, the next time he threw it away, I heard it hit a bleacher. And so he's learning. He's learning what to do.
All right. But again, after your team gives up that interception. On the ensuing drive, it's 2nd down and 6, and Marvin Jones. I thought the nose tackle position this year has been huge for your team as an upgrade from last year.
Yeah, it really has. Not just Marvin, but Mike as well, and Tony Mattori give us some reps in there, and you know, some push in the middle of that defense, and we really hadn't had that in the last couple of years.
All right, now their long field goal kicker comes in, Lee Scott. He does the long ones, but he misses wide right, and so they go 3 plays and miss a field goal. What a turnaround for your defense.
Yeah, it was huge after the turnover, you know, for our defense to get a stop. What a momentum shift and a lift for our team.
Okay, on the ensuing ACU drive, still 15-10 now in the 3rd quarter. It's going to be Mitchell Gale completing a pass to Kendrick Johnson for 13 yards. Kendrick got into some open space a couple of times.
Yeah, you know, Kendrick was hurt in the Tarleton game, didn't really play against Kingsville, but got him back healthy for this game. He made some plays.
And again, still going into the wind in the 3rd quarter, 2nd and 16 after a sack. You find Dennis Campbell on a play that you think is going to maybe turn into a big one for your team, but then he puts it on the ground after a pretty nice strip.
Yeah, it should have been a 1st down. They ended up stripping the ball and turning it over. That was 1 of 2 on the day.
Okay, 4th quarter now, your team has the ball, and you go to Darrell Richardson a couple of times for 8 and then for 10. You get some offensive rhythm going.
Yeah, that was the one thing. We were pinned deep a lot in the game, but we were able to get off our goal line with our tight run sets, and those running backs did a good job.
And then you're going to see Mitchell Gale here on 2nd down and 8 from your own 29-yard line. Really, your team needing a score to take the lead, take a sack here. No sacks, no picks in the first half for Mitchell Gale, but 5 sacks, or a couple of sacks, I should say, and an interception in the second half. They made some good adjustments.
Yeah, it was big. It was both defenses did, you know, and it was big in field position, and the turnovers were huge in field position, you know, against us.
All right, so now they're going into the wind. We force a punt, and then ACU has Mitchell Gale from your own 43-yard line, again hooking up with Dennis Campbell, this time 19 yards to the Mustang 38. He made a couple of really good catches.
I think that was 3rd and 8. That was a huge play. The momentum had really shifted their way, and the crowd was into it. The crowd was really tough over there, especially on the far hash, and that kind of got things quieted down a little bit, and it was a big play.
Okay, huge decision here. Roughly 6 minutes to go in the game. They stuffed Kendrick Johnson on an end around on 3rd down and maybe a couple, loss of 3 or 4 yards. Basically, you're at their 34-yard line, 6 minutes to go, and you send in the freshman again from 51 yards out, and he makes you look like a genius. Another one, really with a lot on the line.
Yeah, it was 4th and 6. I really contemplated going for it, you know, because 50-yard field goals are tough no matter what, even if you've hit one. But really felt like, you know, that was why we took the win in the 4th quarter. If we could have got you know, one more attempt with the win, we could have won the game, and it, you know, just didn't work out.
Amazing. First ACU player ever to have 2 50-plus yard field goals in the same game. And now you call a timeout, and you're going to dial up the play that really you have to believe is going to put the season on the line, right?
Yeah, we felt like we'd get a maximum blitz right there and man-to-man coverage. Wanted to give Gates a chance to go down the field. We got a little pressure on the play, and the ball wasn't thrown real well, so you know, credit their defense. They did a great job on it.
Yeah, 4th and 7. You can't find Gates. They take over. Just a couple of seconds to go on 4th down. Eskridge takes the snap and runs backwards, falls down, game over. You said in that 15-13 final, you said, Coach, before just a few seconds ago, in fact, that you were treating the game as if it was a win-or-go-home game. What was the reaction in the locker room afterwards by your players?
Well, there was a lot of disappointment in there, and you know, some guys really upset. But felt like, you know, the way the day was going to shake out. You know, we wanted to see what the other teams had done. So I told them, you know, there's still a real good chance, just because you fought hard all year. You beat Northwest Missouri, you beat Commerce. You know, some of those teams, Angelo, Kingsville, you have some big wins to your credit. So those help you when playoff selections come. So really just told them, you know, we were going to meet on Sunday and figure out the final outcome. So didn't really want to put an end to the season right there, and it worked out.
You were number 4 in the region going into the game. Teams at number 5 and 6 in the rankings also lost. You guys fall back to number 6 with an 8-3 record in a really, really tough conference and specifically division. So your team is into the playoffs for the 4th straight year. When we come back, we will look and hear from ACU players and fans who endured a sweaty Palm Sunday to find out that ACU had made the playoffs for the 4th straight year. Back at the Chris Thomsen Show after this.
Welcome back to the Chris Thomsen Show. After Saturday's 15-13 loss to Midwestern, all ACU players could do was hold their breath, awaiting the Sunday announcement where Wildcats were finally able to exhale. learning they clinched the #6 seed in the Super Region 4. Scott Stewart gives us an inside look to players' reactions on getting into the playoffs.
Oh, man. After Saturday, I wasn't quite sure. I knew it was still a possibility that we could be in, you know, just 'cause we worked so hard to this point. And, I mean, it could have went either way, but we were just hopeful that we still got that playoff spot.
Well, I ain't necessarily think it was over because I knew if we would have won, it would have been a guarantee in the playoffs. We'd had a guaranteed playoff spot. But after the loss, I didn't think it was like over because I knew just because of our strength of schedule and us beating Northwest Missouri, I knew we still had a shot. So I wasn't just all the way down and out like, oh man, it's over. You know what I'm saying? I just knew we had somewhat of a shot because of our strength of schedule when we beat Northwest Missouri, a #2 ranked team.
To me, I thought it was over, man. Like going through you had to get the playoff results and everything. I feel like we kind of hurt ourselves, but going on, like, it more hurt it, like, because of the seniors we have on the squad, how hard they work and everything. I just wanted to get the opportunity to keep playing for them. Excited. Heart dropped when we got the phone call, but when we seen ACU go up on the board, mindset and everything changed.
Man, I was excited. Adrenaline got going. I wanted to play right then and there, you know. We wanted to schedule up the team, play the next day if we could. We was hyped.
It's just execution and focus, just being focused and going out and playing hard. Really, like, everything we did was good. It was just we're just so close. It's just from one, just every play. It was just so close to making a big play. We just got to execute and do the right thing. Make the right reads, do our assignment and not anything extra.
Preparation, execution, you know. We just played the team, so of course we're gonna know, you know, a little bit more in depth of what each team could do. So I think just as far as just executing a little better, then we should come out of it with a victory.
Word that ACU made the playoffs spread quickly. Summerlee Simser takes us around campus to get the reaction of fans on ACU making it into the playoffs.
I wasn't really sure what to expect going into this season because the last 2 years have just been great. I knew that it would be definitely a different season, but we have done great. I feel like we've really compensated for the players that we lost, and I just think that the team is really getting stronger and doing really great, learning how to play with a brand new offense.
I did not think we were going to make it. I knew it was going to be really close, but I thought maybe we'd slide a little out. But it's pretty exciting going back in and having a chance to go back to Midwestern State and play them one more time. I think our team has a pretty good shot of making it deep. The defense has been playing really well. I think that the offense can score some points. I mean, especially going back to Midwestern. We already know them. We've already played Northwest Missouri, who would be a second-round opponent. So I think they have a chance to make it deep, but the offense just has to score more than 15 points a game.
I am very excited because I went last weekend and I saw us almost win, but this weekend we are going to go back there and we're going to show them who's boss.
The football team is not the only ACU team in the postseason. Let's take it up to Chandler Harris in the JMC Network studios for more.
Thanks, Kimberly. The ACU women's volleyball team defeated Texas A&M Kingsville Thursday in straight sets, 3-0 to advance to the second round of the Lone Star Conference Tournament in Canyon. The Wildcats defeated the Javelinas to win their 16th consecutive match. E.J. Oma Moronu's 30 assists led the Wildcats, while Defensive Player of the Year Shauna Hines had 4 blocks and 6 kills. Head coach Kellen Mock said West Texas A&M's arena, also known as the Box, is the second home for the Wildcats.
Just because they've hosted so many tournaments that we've been to, they've hosted the conference tournament so many times, so we've played a lot of matches on that floor, and it's a very easy place to play volleyball. If you're not playing WT, it's a really fun place to play. When you actually have to go play the home team, it's a little different, you know, because they have 3,000 fans there that are giving you a hard time. But it's a good place to play, so I'm looking forward to it.
The women's basketball team lost to SMU 74-47 in its final exhibition game Monday night in Dallas. The Cats trailed by 29 at the half after the Mustangs jumped out to an 11-0 start. Despite the rough first half, the Cats held their own in the second half, matching the Mustangs with 21 points apiece.
I felt like we played pretty solid against them. We didn't shoot the ball very well, and I think that was the difference in the game for us. Second half, I felt really good about. Played them even the second half, and still didn't shoot the ball well in the second half, but I thought defensively we did a pretty solid job. So I think it's a matter of just helping us prepare, playing against probably one of the toughest teams we'll play all year.
The team will open the regular season on Monday versus St. Mary's in Moody Coliseum at 6 p.m. And the men will begin their season Tuesday at 7 p.m. at home against Baptist College. When the Chris Thomsen Show returns, Grant, Kimberly, and Coach Thomsen will preview today's Midwestern rematch. Stay with us.
Back on the Chris Thomsen Show, let's take a look at the final Lone Star Conference standings for 2009. Congratulations to Midwestern, Tarleton, and Kingsville. They share the conference crown, and a tip of the cap, Coach, to West Texas A&M, which begins 1-5. Know that our arch rival, but they rally. They go unbeaten with Keithon Fleming, and they get a share of the LSC South title. Yeah, I think it shows you what Keithon does for their program, just for their offense, and how he affects their whole team. He's a great competitor and did a great job, and they did a great job finishing the year. Yeah, and your team finishes 8-3, and in fact, West Texas A&M gets a bid to the inaugural Konza Bowl up in Topeka, Kansas on December 5th as a reward for their strong finish. Let's take a look at the regional matchups in the first round of the playoffs. Super Region 4, obviously ACU taking on Midwestern State today in Wichita Falls. Great battle in Kingsville today, Coach. You've got the Javelinas hosting Tarleton State in a rematch of a game that was really neck and neck until the final few minutes of the fourth quarter when Kingsville converted a couple of turnovers and won that game by 2 touchdowns. Yeah, I think Tarleton turned it over 6 total times in that game, gave Kingsville some great field position, so I know Tarleton's eager to play that rematch. Yeah, and you've got the winners of today's games going to a couple of tough places, up to Washington to play Central Washington. That'll be the winner of the Tarleton-Kingsville game. And then the winner of your game against Midwestern State will go up to Maryville, Missouri, where Northwest Missouri State hasn't lost since losing to your team in August of 2008. Well, I didn't realize that. And, it'd be a great opportunity to get to go back to Maryville. Midwestern actually went up there in 06, so both teams familiar with Maryville, Missouri, and it's not an easy place to play. All right, and it should be plenty cold up there this time of year as well. Let's take a look at Midwestern State by the numbers. Again, Coach, obviously a lot of familiarity. Not sure if familiarity is breeding contempt in this case, but I know a lot of respect. We saw how good Zach Eskridge could be. He was 13 for his first 13 passes. You guys really shut him down in the final 3 quarters in terms of passing, but he proved what kind of player he is by beating you with both feet running and his right foot with those quick kicks. Yeah, he's a multi-talented guy, punting the ball. You know, the field position was the big difference, and you can attribute most of that to him. But did some great things running the ball. He's such a big guy. He's so hard to tackle. Even if you get to a point where you can sack him, he still keeps the play alive, a lot like Billy Garza from Kingsville. They both keep plays alive and they make plays, so Zach's a great player. And congratulations to Zach Eskridge. He is the first team Lone Star Conference South Division quarterback of the year. Coach, let's talk as we begin to break down this game today. It's just weird. You mentioned it earlier. You're playing a team in consecutive weeks. I was thinking, as a lot of people were asking me about this week, what a challenge it would be for us to go back and play. I can't believe they're thrilled about having, after narrowly beating us, to play us again. Do you think either team has an advantage in this case? Not really. I mean, we've played 3 rematch games here at ACU in the playoffs. You know, 06 we played WT again, and then last year we played 2 rematches. And the team that loses the first game is always more, you know, eager to go play again. I know Midwestern State would probably rather move on to another opponent just simply because they won. You know, but once the ball snapped and the guys start getting after it, I don't think it'll make any difference.
Now, we've rarely talked about the kickers this season, but what about Morgan Lineberry making 2 of the longest field goals in ACU history and essentially keeping you guys in last week's game? Does that change the way you coach, just knowing that you have an emerging kicker? Yeah, strategically it changes a lot. You know, the decision to kick the field goal on 4th down in the 4th quarter was
really made because of confidence in him. 4 or 5 weeks ago, we would have just gone for it on 4th and 6, and you got a shot with a guy who's kicking like he is to cut the lead to 2, give yourself a chance with the win to win it in the 4th quarter. So changes a lot, and you credit our field goal protection unit. Those long kicks usually come out at lower trajectory, and those guys did a great job in protection. So a lot of confidence in that unit, which in the close games in the playoffs, you hope that gives you the edge.
Well, Coach, as we begin to wrap things up here, maybe just a word about what it means to you in this program, 4 consecutive years in the Division II playoffs.
Well, one of the goals once we got there was to establish consistency. We want to be there every year competing for a national championship. The next step for us is to figure out how to get out of the region so you can get in there and win a national championship. And the region is so tough with Northwest Missouri and all the Lone Star Conference schools that each year you learn something new about what you have to do. But the consistency factor is what we want to establish. We want to be there every year with a chance to win it, and that, again, we got that chance.
And then finally, this is the first playoff appearance for Midwestern since 2006. Your team has played a handful of playoff games beginning in 2006. You had one that year, you had a couple the next year, you had a couple last year. What about playoff experience? Is that something that can play out on the field positively for the team that has more? I
don't think there's any doubt. I told the team Sunday about a few of the things that are different about the playoffs with the different travel roster, and I said, did I forget anything? And 3 or 4 of our guys said, yeah, this, and they kind of know what to expect, a lot of them. The Tony Harps, Tony's been 4 years in the playoffs, and so I think that helps those guys understand what it takes to prepare. But on the other hand, we got a few new guys like Mitchell who have never really been there and had to play. So, we'll see. Hopefully that'll help us.
Well, Coach, play well today. Depending on when you're seeing this show, the game may well be underway. A noon kickoff from Wichita Falls. Local broadcast in Abilene of the Big Country on Classic Country 1470. Hopefully we'll be back previewing the Northwest Missouri State next week. For Kimberly and for Coach, I'm Grant Boone. Thanks for watching The Chris Thomsen Show.